Well, the long-awaited live-action remake of Disney's Snow White debuted over the weekend.
Uh-oh.
It bombed. Karens cried. And Disney blames the fans because...
I'm shocked.
Oh, yes, of course.
I'm Jazz Berganzo, and this... Is it worse than the Eternals?
Weird.
Well...
That's fucked up, man.
But it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Berganzo, what's next, your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Monday. New week. And hope you had a good weekend. You know, mine was kind of, meh. Did some things around the house, Of course, had dinner with the wife. But, go to the movies? Anybody go to movie theaters this weekend? Because if you did you go see the most anticipated film of 2025? Snow White, live action Snow White with that wonderful, considerate, charming actress, Rachel Zegler, and of course the amazing Gal Gadot as the evil queen. But if you didn't, not surprised. The movie tanked. Its worst live action remake in Disney's history. And of course, who got the blame? You and me. Because, of course. This coming from Breitbart. John Nolte, Snow White bombs, breaks record for lowest live action remake opening. Yes, and there's no other person to blame but this one, but they're not going to say that. With its dreadful $43 million opening, $43 million opening, Snow White now holds the record for the lowest debut weekend of any Disney live action remake. The previous record holder was 2019's Dumbo, which opened to a paltry $46 million. This does not count for the 29-year-old live-action remake of 101 Dalmatians, which is not part of this current cycle. Nevertheless, the 1996 movie still opened to 33.5. In today's dollars, that would be $68 million. Hell, if you account for inflation, Dumbo's on 2019 opened to $57 million in today's dollars, which tells you just how poorly Snow Woke has been received. The news isn't any better for Snow Woke overseas. Previous projections for the weekend's global haul hovered around a already pathetic 100 million. By Monday, that number will sit around 87. Yikes. Before promotion, the disaster cost $270 million to make. At this point, it's doubtful it will gross $270 worldwide. When you remove the 50% theater cut, the Disney's grooming syndicate is looking at a brutal loss. Tee-hee. One of the latest excuses for the movie's failure, because the sycophants in the entertainment media will never have the moral courage to admit, stars Rachel Zegler's smug mouth, or the movie's feminist nonsense turn people off, is this anti-science piece of Disney butt-smooching blather from the Penske entertainment media monopoly, Death Star. There's another thing when it comes to Snow White, it has nothing to do with controversy rather than age. That being Disney years, 88 years old. How does Little Mermaid open to $95.5 million over a 3-day period, then gross to $300 million over the domestic? How does Little Mermaid get away with it and Snow White can't? As we pointed out with Dumbo, these live-action remakes take of older vintage Disney musicals animated movies, i.e. Maleficent, Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians. They're just open lower. They have darker, colder, classical themes which don't play to today's massive female audiences, i.e. modern audiences. As you can see, to these people, Bob Iger's ass tastes like peppermint. Let me see if I got this straight. Snow White was humiliated at the box office weekend not because its star is obnoxious harridan, not because it's woke rape of a timeless story with asinine feminism. No, it flopped because the original is really old? Okay, but why did the 2015 live-action remake of 65-year-old Cinderella, 1950, open to $68 million domestic and go on to a $542 million global gross? Oh, and by the way, by today's figure of inflation, 68 million in 2015 looks like 92 million today, which is pretty close to what Little Mermaid did. No? Hollywood will never repair itself because it doesn't accept the truth about why Snow White bombed. And everybody knows it. 1, Disney and Zegler alienated normal people, and 2, the movie sucks. Well, we'll see how Snow White does over the weekend without any competition, but the stink on this smell kinds of, well, Marvel-y. Yikes. That's bad. From all the clips that I'm seeing, over on X and of course Instagram, this movie, no es bueno. No es bueno at all. When you take out the principal themes of what made the movie great, you had a princess, you had a prince, you had you had her, her discovery, her growing into womanhood. You had a guy who basically didn't care if he was, if she was rich or not. Basically, he just liked her for who she was. No, let's get rid of all that shit and let's bring in feminism. Yes, let's bring in feminism and trash the movie. Well, those old heads like myself, Gen Xers and older, are going to appreciate the 1937 classic even more so now with this monstrosity that hit over the weekend. Now, like in my intro, is it worse than the Marvels? I'm sorry, did I say the Marvels? Well, the Marvels suck too, but I mean, is it worse than the Eternals? Is it worse than Thor, deballed and emasculated? Is it worse than those films? I want to say no. It sucks, but it doesn't suck that bad. And damn. But with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is what's next. Want to see more like this, please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.